This is part 2 of the uniform review. If you haven't seen part 1, there's a link in the description. Quick recap of the criteria I'm using for this list. We're looking at the full uniform. That's the helmet, jersey, pants, and socks. These are just about the home and away looks, with the alternates being bonus points, if anything. And they should look good on the whole team, not just one position. The awful category had the Rams and Cardinals, followed by the bad category with the Falcons, Bengals, Titans, and Patriots. That leaves us with a ton of teams, so let's move on to the close category. The Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football.
I love this man. First, let's talk about the positives of this set. The Panthers finally updated their uniform template to a modern version instead of the old Reebok ones. It's fine, but not great that the Packers used the old Reebok template because they have a classic, bold look, but the Panthers needed that structure of the new template to give them a more consistent look. I love the way that they use their colors, and I'm happy that they stayed away from mostly an all-black look. But it's in dire need of an update. Seriously, what the hell is going on with these helmet stripes? It looks like two long, wispy black hairs flowing in the wind. Their old template would give these giant inconsistencies to their shoulder stripes and their pant stripes, but the new template has cleaned that up. They removed the Panther logo on their leg because they realized that, hey, maybe we don't need to cover our whole body in logos. Why do they have a rounded logo with rounded stripes and block numbers? That does not match. The Panthers always seem like they want to be that cool new team that's been around forever. That's kind of what I get with all the swoopy and swashy and then block numbers. I don't get it. It's really kind of a waste of an amazing color scheme. It's not a horrible look, and most of their fans seem to love it, so I doubt the Panthers will change anytime soon. And who knows, maybe they'll keep this look long enough and it'll become cool again? I mean, that's a gamble that the Broncos have taken, and it hasn't really worked out for them.
The Panthers really don't have to do anything too crazy to their uniform to make it a really good one. They have a great color scheme, and their helmet is fine as long as they get rid of that stripe on it. I proposed in my redesign that they change the shoulder stripe slightly. I think they can just update a few elements to make it overall look good, because it does have like an old feeling about it. They don't have to do too much to make their uniform look really great.
Next up, the Baltimore Ravens.
Hey, let me tell you about my favorite pizza, my way. $10, any pizza. Hut Hut, Pizza Hut. Flacco's favorite. Check it out.
Not a ton has changed with the Ravens since they came into the league, but I've never been a huge fan of the dark purple with the black and this gross shade of gold. There just isn't enough contrast in the colors for me. And my real issue is the whole uniform is this kind of mix of aggressive and cartoony. They also run into the same issues that the Saints have with their black pants. They look like yoga pants. You really need to give these guys contrasting socks to alleviate this issue. Now, a lot of fans really like these jerseys simply because they have this all-black look. Apparently, everybody likes to pretend like they're the team from any given Sunday. And this is fine, but it would greatly benefit from more contrast with other colors that they use. Did you even know that they have a purple drop shadow? Can you even see it? All this said, I don't hate the look. At least it follows a theme and style. It's just one that would look better on an NBA team than a football team. It's fine, and you know what? The fan base seems to love it, so they're not going to change it. But a slight font change, a logo tweak, some better color contrast, and that would go a long way. Just please, never bring back the gold pants.
The Ravens also have a really good color scheme in my opinion. I'm a big fan of the black and purple, and obviously having that gold in there really kind of enhances it. I think they should use the gold a little more though, because it's a really nice color in their color scheme. And I know Bacon doesn't like the black on purple stroke, but I think it's alright. And please, for the love of God, never wear those gold pants again.
Next, Houston Texans. This one is really difficult for me. If the Texans were some old historic franchise who just updated their look from the 60s, these would be okay. Oh, the Jets did that. We'll get to them in a bit. With the Texans, I can't really be upset because their bland uniform matches their bland name, but Texas football fans deserve better than this. The city has a clear space theme going on with the Astros and Rockets, but I guess the name Texans was just too good to pass up. They came into the league in 2002. They didn't even try to use an original color scheme. It's all just very uninspired. And say what you will about the Jaguars' uniform history, but at least they took chances. So this is not a horrible look. It's clean, it's structured, the stripes and the shoulders are consistent, it's just fine. They did change their uniforms recently in the most Houston Texans way possible. They added a logo above the name on the back. Cool.
Bacon hit the nail on the head with the Texans uniform. I think they really should embrace their logo look and do something really interesting and kind of out of this world. I did a two-tone helmet because their logo's two-toned with one side being blue, one side being red. I think they should do that with their helmet. I did it in a gradient, but they could put a white stripe down the middle, have one side red, one side blue, and then have a red jersey, have a blue jersey, mix and match. I think they could do something to be a little more unique. And I think the gradient would really add something to it, or the two-tone helmet would really add something to it. Although I think they really should change the design because I think it's a little bland.
Next, the New York Jets.
Danielle.
B-O-A-T-S.
Very good. Cars. Matthew.
C-A-R-S.
Good. Jets.
J-E-T-S! Jets, Jets, Jets!
The Jets were the only team to look at the Texans and say, yeah, we want to be that generic, but not NFL generic. We want to be high school generic. Like if you went into a CVS and bought a jersey. First, let me give credit where credit is due. That new green is perfect. I love the color on the helmet. It's a beautiful contrast against this white. That's all the positives. So you got a team called the Jets, a team that has so many amazing options for helmet designs, and you went with italics and a football. This is a placeholder logo that somehow made it into the final design. You got the shoulder stripes that just extend into the front of the jersey. This pencil-thin stripe down the pant leg looks ridiculous on offensive and defensive linemen. I get that it's supposed to invoke motion, but it doesn't really. It looks like weak tapered lines. Why not have 2 or 3 or 4 stripes on the sleeves that look like jet streams or something? I don't know. Does the Jets owner believe in chemtrails? Oh, I hope not. Let me check. And okay, inconclusive. The black outlines on the numbers are completely unnecessary and actually play down the contrast of this awesome green and white. The look already feels forgotten after 1 year, and I can't see the Jets sticking with this one for very long. It's not their best look. It's not horrible, but they could just do so much better.
The Jets really kind of messed up with their redesign. I'm not a fan of them incorporating so much black into the uniform. I think they were great with green and white. I think the new green they chose, they could have added to the old design and maybe kind of update the old design a little bit to feel more modern, and they would have been great. And I think that's just a really good look. They would have kept the history of their old uniforms, but with this new green, and it would have looked really great. Hopefully they do something like that in their next redesign, because this redesign is not too good.
Up next, the Denver Broncos. Actually, my roommate's a Broncos fan. I want to ask him what he thinks about the... What the hell, dude? What's going on?
What do you think's going on? I'm trying to make sure Drew Lock is a good quarterback.
Oh my god. I was going to ask you about the uniform stuff. Yeah, you're so weird.
No one cares about uniforms. You're wasting your time.
I'm wasting my time.
I noticed more orange. More orange.
Oh my god. The Broncos were trendsetters back in the day when they needlessly switched from an already awesome uniform to this current look. And it kind of worked. At the time, it really fit this 90s aesthetic, and it's something that really changed the way that we looked at NFL uniforms at the time. Now, flash forward to today, and if they would have tweaked the design to fit more modern uniform cuts, it would still be great, but they didn't. It's just such a specific late 90s look. It looks like an And One logo. I do love that the Broncos switch back to having orange as their primary color. That is awesome. That's something that defines your team, and moving away from that is a bad idea. I also like the throwback logo and their current logo, so I'm kind of torn between these. I would love it if they did a slight update or decided to go all out like they did in the 90s with a new look. Maybe something mountain related like the Nuggets or Jazz. Man, the Jazz have always had amazing uniforms. They're just right on the edge design-wise for me. The overall look just hasn't aged that well, but it's not awful, and at this point, maybe it'll come back around.
I was a big fan of the Broncos uniforms up until like 2016-ish, and then I started to get sick of the kind of 90s look of them. I've been hoping they would update them. Their color rushes came out, and I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's where they need to go. And I thought for sure they would be going in that direction sometime soon. They haven't yet. I think their current look has run its course. They definitely should keep their current logo though, because I think that fits great on helmets. And I'm not a big fan of the D logo.
Moving on to the Miami Dolphins. I could easily have these in the good tier. The all-whites are so clean with that white helmet and white face mask. They got rid of the dumb dark blue outlines around everything and changed their colors a little bit so that orange and aqua really goes well together. And their throwbacks are wonderful. Unfortunately, they're vastly superior to their current look, so that's kind of the reason they're here. The new logo leaves a lot to be desired. There's zero connection between this dolphin and the audience. I look at this, I see speed. I look at this, I see fierce. When I look at this, I see Dolphin Sanctuary? It's like the logo you'd see on the side of a jet ski. And while we're talking about it, what's up with jet ski designs? How have they always been the same? They're always designed to look like they're going 600 miles an hour, they're 99% fiberglass seams, and have they ever been made in any other color besides Saved by the Bell intro? You know what? I'm gonna put jet skis in my awful category. Update your look, jet skis. Wait a second. The Falcons are just red and black jet ski designs. Changed my mind. The Falcons are in the awful category. Where was I? Oh yeah, football uniforms. The old logo is campy, and yeah, the Dolphin isn't wearing the same helmet as the team he represents, but oh my god, who cares? At least I get playful out of this. Then they decided to slap a logo in the sleeve. We've already gone over how dumb the double logos are. I hate this word mark. It looks more like something for a tech company than a sports team. And if you don't know where these guys are from, you could always check out this cute little tramp stamp they gave all the players. You know that several 300+ pound men are wearing these things, right? Could you just not get the rights to Qehzy? The Dolphins need to take a look at what the Chargers did and emulate that. Embrace your campy mascot and have some fun with your uniform. Something new and classic. You really can't go wrong with these beautiful colors.
Dolphins uniforms I'm actually kind of a fan of. I think they're close to being good. They're missing something. The throwback is really good, and I think everyone can agree on that, and I think they should probably take that as a base for a new uniform. I don't like the color change. I think I like the older color that they used, but that's just my opinion. I like it when they're a little greener. Their white look is definitely their best look, and I think they need to add something to their uniform to make it interesting, and you could match the stripes with the helmet stripe or do something a little more unique. But I think the Dolphins are pretty close, and their current uniforms could always be way worse.
Now let's finally get to the good stuff. The Indianapolis Colts. This offseason, the Colts made some seemingly small tweaks to their uniforms, but when your uniform is very minimalistic, those changes are actually pretty drastic. First, the logo itself has been updated. It's not a huge change, but it's the right nudge to make the uniform feel more modern and fit the helmet better. They also added a logo that some people got upset about because it did look like another logo, but it's not like two people couldn't independently come up with this idea. Also, it's a logo that's only on the inside of the collar, so it's used to sell jerseys, and it's not an actual important facet of it. The biggest change is the number font, which fits their logo and the new word mark perfectly. It's a great font that really brings the whole look together. I love how they just own this royal blue and don't need random black lines on their uniforms. But they did add black to their official colors, so that worries me a little bit. The Nike logo is also in black on the away uniforms for some reason. And it only works here because this was shot in the same place that the Saw films were. All right, we got everything that we need to show off this new uniform. We got one swinging light bulb and someone smoking a cigarette somewhere. Also, the shoulder stripes, they were very common back in the day, but since moving to a more modern cuts, the shoulder stripes don't go all the way around, they just kind of sit on the top. And I kind of wish the Colts went with a new design element that fits a modern jersey, but this is their look and they're sticking with it. It really only bothers me when a team had them, got rid of them, and then tries to bring them back. Here, they've been consistent, so it's fine that they keep them. Their sock situation also leaves a lot to be desired. If you have stripes on your shoulders and that's a huge part of your aesthetic, then why do you just have plain socks? Great uniforms don't skip on stuff like this. So it's a really good, borderline great look. I might actually move them up after I get to see them in action because that new font is perfect.
So I'm a big fan of the Colts uniforms, and I don't think they should make any more changes. I like the new update they did to the font. I think it really made the jersey better. Maybe when the helmet rule changes, add a navy jersey in there or like a darker blue, like a classic uniform. And I think their design's pretty set. Maybe some minor tweaks here and there over the next few years, but that's about it.
Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles. Good because they have an awesome helmet like the Bengals, but instead of a bag of Cheetos, they look okay. pretty late 90s look with that font and the super dark colors, and it's not a bad shade of green. It really pops against that white and looks great on a helmet. Of course, I love the Kelly green more. It's much more exciting and feels more Philadelphia to me, or as the kids call it, the PHL. The thing is, they're not going back because they won a Super Bowl in these things, and it's really rare for a team to change uniforms after recently winning a Super Bowl. The only real problem behind these is the same problems that the Ravens have with contrast. The dark green and black don't contrast at all, and from a distance, it's impossible to tell them apart. It's just something that we did to uniforms for a while. We outlined everything in black and made all the colors dark to seem 90s edgy.
Hide the planet! Hide the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Hide the planet!
In reality, the Eagles would be much better off with this midnight green, white, and maybe a little bit of silver. I'm cool with the logo on the sleeve because it's different from the helmet. The number font is a little dated, but I don't hate it. Man, that winged helmet though, so good. A few minor color changes and a font update, and this thing's great.
And now we're on to my team, the Eagles. A lot of us love the midnight green and think we should keep it, especially after winning the Super Bowl. But everyone loves the Kelly green uniforms. It's just this helmet rule prevents us from wearing it, and we don't want it to be the main green. The Eagles have by far my favorite helmet in the NFL, probably because of my bias. I think the font change is our biggest need. Maybe using more silver than black and going in that direction. Change to Kelly green would be cool, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially after the Super Bowl.
Up next, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Most people are calling for the creamsicle uniforms, and for a good reason. Very few professional teams have even attempted this color combination with grown men. But you know what? The Bucs pulled it off. If they would have came up with this structure and logo, but in the creamsicle style, it would have been great. With that said, their old uniforms were awful, and I could see why they just went back to their Super Bowl win look. It's a cleaner version with an updated logo and cut. Overall, it's very good. Sure, it says Buccaneers really small here for no reason. Sure, pewter is just another word for brown. It still works. For a team that thought that this looked good, it's a miracle that they were able to get this at all. Their standard home and away jerseys are really nice. The all-white is perfect for Florida and a great option to wear at home during those warm day games. The all-brown look really won't look good against anybody, and I could already see that the matte jerseys with that shiny helmet don't match. Just like the Lions, but we'll get to them later. So I don't like that look at all, but again, 99% of these reviews are about the standard home and away, so it's just a slight annoyance. This whole look is a great addition by subtraction, and I'm very happy with the change.
I think we're all pretty happy with what the Bucs did going back to their early 2000s look. Personally, I would have liked to see them use that as a base for another look. And it would have been cool to see them use some sort of unique stripe with that sharpness. And I really like the addition of adding the all pewter uniform. I think it looks really good and it gives them something else to work with.
Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys. At first glance, the Cowboys have some pretty basic uniforms, but the longer you look at them, the more you notice how different they are from every NFL team. They have a navy blue star but royal blue numbers, a silver helmet but greenish silver pants, black outlines around the sleeve stripes, and nowhere else. These are all design choices that I would hate on any other uniform other than the Cowboys. For some reason, all these elements seem to click together, like an old website with those dumb GIFs and word art. It's probably because it's such a classic design and all those issues are from decades ago, so they've just kind of become a part of the team. I'm kind of impressed that they just own it. It's an iconic uniform with no bells and whistles. Their navy sets, to me, leave a lot to be desired. They don't carry the same weight as their standard white uniforms do. They are smart enough to wear different pants, because if they didn't, it would look really weird. I hope the Cowboys never change their uniforms, because if they change any part of it, the whole look's gonna fall apart. The only thing keeping them from great is their navy uniform, or basically any other look outside of this iconic one. It's on the edge though, and I do enjoy what Noah did.
Even as an Eagles fan, I gotta admit the Cowboys uniform design is a classic, and there's really nothing they can do to change it at this point. It's kind of locked in its place. I really like that royal blue. I think it would be cool if they went with a jersey in that color direction. As far as any changes, I think if they got rid of the black trim on the stripes, I don't think anyone would really notice, but I think it would be a huge improvement on the uniform and overall make it a lot better. I'm sure Jerry Jones and the Cowboys aren't gonna touch it anytime soon.
Up next, the New Orleans Saints.
What is this guy doing?
I can't get through the gate. The gate is narrow. All right, hey, what do you want me to do? Just back up. I'm stuck.
Little known fact, the Saints actually changed their uniform colors a couple years ago. Nothing really big, but what is big is they finally fixed their collars. They used to look like a toilet seat cover around their necks. It's a simple, bold, clean helmet, classic striping, backed up with a bold jersey. And you guys know I hate it when the team has the same logo on their sleeves as the helmet, but it doesn't bother me as much here because the design is so simple and there's so much structure to the rest of the uniform. Plus, if you've ever been to New Orleans, the fleur-de-lis is on everything. I'd much rather have something else on their sleeves, like that amazing color rush design, which should be their standard away uniform, but it's not a huge issue. Their gold-black-gold combination is by far my favorite. They would also greatly benefit from what the Colts did and update that number font. That throwback font is beautiful, and it fits New Orleans a lot better than that old-school block number. A couple small things that kind of bug me about it too. They love to wear stripeless black pants with black socks, so we got that yoga pants thing going on again. If you're a girl and you wear a Saints jersey with yoga pants, you're a helmet away from being in uniform. They also seem to have a difficult time to get their colors to match. The Vikings had this same problem too, but fixed it, and that gold is a little too muted for New Orleans for me. If you've been around the city, the golds that you see are much more vibrant. How awesome would it be if the Saints did something more of like a Notre Dame style gold? Don't copy it, but similar. Still, it's a good uniform, it's high on a lot of lists for a lot of reasons, but if they did some modest changes like the Colts, I'd bump them up to gray.
The Saints have really solid uniforms, and it's hard to go wrong when you have a great color scheme like black and gold. And I think they should take that stripe that's on the white color rush jersey and use that on the black one as well. So it'd be kind of like a throwback and a modern jersey at the same time. A couple of really simple changes that would make all the difference. But as of right now, their uniform's perfectly fine.
Up next, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some people might be quick to point out that their original uniforms are the Jaguars' best look, but I actually think that this is their best look. It's a minimalist uniform with oversized numbers and a focus on black and white with gold and teal as accent colors. It makes these things look classy. Their helmet gloss also seems to be a little bit more than the standard design, and it really complements the look overall. Maybe it just looks better to me because their old helmet was an abomination. And if you're gonna put a helmet logo on your jersey, this is the place to do it. It doesn't clash with the helmet logo, and it leaves the other side open for temporary patches. And I love all their color combinations. I really like the white teal pant combo. It was great to see the Jaguars take a step back and do a full design refresh. This is a great base to work with for future design changes, but this look can become one that they own and become recognizable pretty quickly. Great job, guys.
I've started to come around on the Jaguars' new look. At first I wasn't a fan. I wish they would have gone with something a little more new because they are a newer franchise. I thought their last look, they tried too hard. I think they should make their teal jersey the main jersey. I think that's their best look. I think they could include a stripe pattern with their simple jersey design. I think they could have some stripes or maybe include a Jaguar pattern. But overall, I think they have a pretty nice design now.
Next, the Detroit Lions. The Lions used to be a team that I would put in the bad category with all that unnecessary black all over the place, but now the Lions updated their look and it's pretty glorious. It combines the history of the team with the new elements perfectly. I love how they completely owned that stripe design. It's on the helmet, the sleeves, and the pants. Overall, good uniform, borderline great, but there are a couple weird design choices. When Nike makes a uniform, they're obviously trying to make something that looks good on the field, but mostly something that they could just sell to the average fan. Sometimes that affects the jersey in a negative way, and I feel like that's the only reason why this Lions word mark is on the sleeve. It's to let casual fans know who that jersey represents. I'm pretty sure most fans would be able to look at this design and know right away that it's the Lions, so it seems really unnecessary to spell it out. It's also a little much when on the other side, it's William Clay Ford Sr.'s initials. And it's a little weird when your division rivals have had that exact same design element for decades. You can pick one of these, but not both of them. It feels like they would be much better off if they just did a WCF patch on their chest and no word mark on the stripes. The gray numbers also look awesome up close, but from far away, there's not a lot of contrast, and when they get wet, it's difficult to read from a distance. These are all small issues that I can 100% deal with when the rest of the uniform looks so great. Their standard home is the best look. I love that they have two good pant combinations for away games. My least favorite look is the all gray with the mismatch match helmets, and it looks really boring. But you know what? They wear it like once a year, so I can handle it. Lions fans got themselves a huge upgrade.
The Lions have my favorite redesign of any team recently. I think they could use a lighter gray on the pants and the numbers. I think that would make the uniform a little bit better. Also, I love that they have an all gray that can be used for away games. A lot of times teams are always wearing white on the road, and this allows them to mix it up even more. But their home and away look is really, really great.
Up next, the Green Bay Packers. The yellow helmet, green jersey, yellow pants is a great combination that really pops on the field. Simple block numbers match the bold design of the jersey, and I actually like how there's no outline around the names or numbers. It's a really classic old school look that has actually been tweaked over time to look this good. While some teams have a clear primary color and use their secondary color for accents, the Packers took a big gamble, basically going 50-50 with their green and yellow. I refuse to call this color gold. It's just a great overall look, and I used to have them in the great category, and they're kinda halfway in there for me, but the reason why I bumped them down is this. The TV numbers on the shoulders are too big, and it's gotten out of control. On some players, it's downright obnoxious. Wide receivers, cornerbacks, any non-giant person has gross numbers that look like they ran out of the correct size. And with the Panthers moving to that more modern fabric, the Packers are the only team using that old Reebok template, with even older fabric choices. I think it's the same fabric that they were using with Starter. It's like an old pair of tearaway pants and your middle school gym shirt mated. None of these fabrics have any kind of stretch, so the jersey loses its structure. The numbers get all bunched up and they're constantly getting pulled over their pads. Next time you watch a Packer game, you'll notice that they always have more players fixing their pads. That is not a good uniform trait. And there's just one teeny tiny thing that seems to bother only me, and I don't understand why nobody talks about it. Every other team in sports that has a two-word city name, like San Francisco, New York, New Jersey, Kansas City, Los Angeles, all use two letters to represent their city. So why does Green Bay only have a G? Some will say that it stands for greatness. This is false. The truth is, there's no good reason, and it's too late to change because GB would look silly now. We just got used to it. These are just things that keep me up at night. That and being excited to go to Disney World.
Okay, guys, back to bed.
We're too excited to sleep.
With back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the Packers have had a constant stream of success. So like the Patriots, they've been good so long in these uniforms that it's going to be really hard to ever move away from them. And I don't think they should. If they upgrade to a more modern cut that fits today's pad styles and not the pads that people wore in 1992, these things will easily be up in the great, maybe even the grand and wonderful.
The Packers, like the Cowboys, have a very iconic look that they really can't change at this point. I don't see any major changes that need to happen for them design-wise. I love that they have this all-white look now. It gets kind of boring seeing the team have the same pants on home and away games. I think maybe they can incorporate some green pants on the road too. They like wearing that throwback uniform. I think they should scrap that till the helmet rule is gone, but they have such a great look. I'm a big fan of the Packers, green and yellow, and they have a really iconic design.
Up next, the team from Washington. Washington's use of color is some of the best in the NFL. They look great on the road in white pants, burgundy pants. I don't know what happened to the yellow pants. Please bring them back. It's just a fantastic color combination for sport played in the fall/winter. Those colors with classic block numbers and consistent striping, 10 points for Gryffindor! So why aren't these in the great? Why are you doing this to us, Bacon? Is it the name Redskins? It's the name, isn't it? I swear to God, if it's the name, I'm gonna leave you the nastiest comment ever. I'll have some either vague desktop background photo as an icon or a photo of me sitting inside my truck wearing gas station sunglasses. Are you sure you want this? You know what? I don't care anymore. I think it needs to be addressed. And my roommate, Nate Lopez, explained the whole situation to me the best, so I'm gonna let him explain.
So there's 4 categories in which this stuff generally falls into. All right, the first is partnership. This would be like the University of Utah with the Ute tribe or Florida State with the Seminoles. For the most part, they work with each other to ensure financial gain or to ensure that nothing is being appropriated, right? You have the tribal elders, you have the colleges there, it's a partnership, okay? The second is an homage. This would be like what the Chiefs do. They got rid of their racist mascot, they lean on native imagery, but they don't appropriate it. And it tends to be more positive imagery than what you would see in other teams. The third is appropriation. This would be like what the Indians do, okay? They encourage their fans to wear headdresses, they encourage the tomahawk chop, this kind of stuff. What you're doing here is you're taking native imagery and you're changing the meaning of it. That's what appropriation is. The last is just outright slander. That's what the Redskins are, okay? That's not a good word to call Native Americans, and the fact that it's still in the zeitgeist is like crazy to me. But also Chief Wahoo, right? That's just a caricature. Is that good? Can I use the bathroom now?
Yes.
You're taking this uniform thing too seriously.
From an outsider's perspective, it doesn't matter if you think the name Redskins isn't offensive. You have to ask yourself, can I logically understand why someone would find this problematic? If the answer is yes, then maybe your team mascot, the thing that is designed to bring people together for support, needs to be changed. There's so many awesome mascots too. It's not like the Browns or Packers took them. So what does this have to do with the jersey? Well, you can't even make any uniform adjustments because then you're going to lose the tradition argument. You can't change your logo because there's feathers on the outside and there's feathers on the Native American's head. And the only reason why those feathers were there to begin with is because it was originally an R. You can't move the numbers up to the shoulders, so you have a sleeve cap that you could work with for more design elements. For that reason alone, I can't find a uniform that bears this logo to be any higher than good. And unfortunately, I don't think it's something that's gonna change until this tiny little goon sells the team.
Washington has a really great color scheme and their uniforms are pretty solid. They don't have to do too much to keep it pretty simple, and they can wear the burgundy on white and yellow or go all burgundy and it would look good no matter what. Maybe they just go with the feathers on the helmet, which is what I proposed in my redesign. I propose that they use a little more of an interesting pattern in their stripe design, take the uniform to the next level, but they have solid uniforms overall.
And that is the end of part 2 of the series. The final video should be right here. If it's not, it'll be up soon. I don't know. These take way too long to make. Make sure to subscribe, click on the notification so you know when it's up. Also, if you haven't watched Noah's concept video, check it out.